Hey there Star Wars fans, welcome to another Bossk Bounty video. Now in this video I'm going to go through the worst to first of the Vintage Saga Collection of action figures that were released in 2006 and 2007. Okay, for those of you that are watching that don't know, the Vintage Saga Collection was released in 2006-2007, 6 figures in 2006 and another 6 in 2007. These came after the original Trilogy Collection, or the Vintage Trilogy Collection, which came out in 2004 and 2005. And there were a series of 3.75-inch super articulated figures on vintage style cards. Okay, now these figures were blatantly for the collector because they were released in these sort of clamshell protective cases, which I'll just show you now. So here's one of these protective cases. They came like this, and then you could open them up if you so wish, or you could keep them in the cases, but basically to stop them getting dented and crushed, they came in these clamshells. So there you go, they open like that and you can just take the figure out the back. So that's pretty cool. I myself don't really like keeping them in these. I prefer to put them in star cases or plastic acrylic cases to show them off. I'm just not really a fan of this, really. It just gets in the way, so I sort of bung those away. Okay, so basically I'm going to try and attempt to go through the worst to first of the 12 figures. It's going to be really difficult because all of them are great in their own way. Now if you do like this video, don't forget to drop a like down below. It really does help the channel, and if you're new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button and then we'll get into this. Okay, so coming in at number 12, unfortunately one of the figures has to be number 12, and it is the George Lucas in Stormtrooper disguise. Now this was a exclusive mail away. It came in a white mail away box. The reason I've picked this one last is because it's not an official character, and I would have probably preferred an actual Stormtrooper on that card, to be honest, but still it's quite quirky. It's nice to see George Lucas there, and also the figure there, I don't know if you can see, but it has gone a little bit yellow over time. It's kind of affected his whole body. Sometimes with these older figures, just the torso goes a bit yellow and the rest of the figure doesn't, or maybe just the helmet sometimes. But on this occasion, the whole figure's just gone a very slight yellow colour. There's the back of the card. There's George Lucas there. I mean, you know, it's a nice touch doing that. But in terms of action figures and trying to rate these from worst to first, this one actually does come last. And in 11th place, we have Luke Skywalker in Bespin fatigues. Now, obviously, some people might disagree with my list here and others might agree. Let me know in the comments what you think. I'll be glad to know your thoughts. But I do have to put them in some kind of order, and some of them are going to come lower than others. And basically, Luke Skywalker in Bespin fatigues unfortunately comes further down the list. And the reason for this is basically the figure isn't a great figure. It doesn't really look like Luke that much. I mean, it's got the classic card and everything, but we did get a re-release of this figure in 2010, I believe, at the very beginning of the actual proper vintage collection, and the figure was greatly improved, and that is the reason why this figure is number 11. And in 10th place we have Han Solo in trench coat from the Battle of Endor, and this figure and card is so far down the list because we have again had a re-release of this one in the vintage collection itself. And in my opinion, the figure was improved slightly. And also the Return of the Jedi cards in this particular line, the font on the cards isn't the same as the vintage collection. The font here of the Jedi is quite slim, if you know what I mean. It's a little bit different. If you check your cards side by side, you'll see what I'm talking about. As I said before, it is quite difficult to rate these figures, but some of these figures have got to be lower down than others. And sorry, Han, old buddy, you are one of those. And on to 9th place, we have Princess Leia Organa in her combat poncho from Return of the Jedi. Now again, this figure is from the Return of the Jedi line, so we have the font issue there. And also I just feel that the figure itself could be improved upon. If we have a re-release, they could really improve on her poncho, get that face sculpt sorted with the new face painting technology, and just vastly improve the figure. It's been a while, and I think we do need a remake of her. I also think the card art itself has like a bit of a yellow tinge to it. I'm not really sure if that's, you know, it looks like it's been taken straight out of the movie, which is great. I do like it when it does that, but it's just got a bit of a yellow tinge to it. I don't know if you can see that. And in 8th place, we have the Tusken Raider, or Sand People as it used to be called, on the card. Now, this figure and card back is in 8th place because we are due an update of this figure. I believe if you were to get this figure out of the package, the elbows don't move. So yeah, we could do with an improvement on this figure, a re-release. Nothing wrong with the card as it goes. I mean, again, taken straight from the movie. I love that. And it's got that real sort of old style to it. But, you know, some of these figures, they do have to come lower than others. Okay then, so straight on to 7th place, and we have the Bounty Hunter IG-88 from The Empire Strikes Back. Now again, nothing wrong with this figure. It's actually a really, really good figure. I love this figure. Loads and loads of detail on this figure, and the card art is pretty good in itself as well. But, you know, as I said before, some of these figures are better than others. The card backs are better than others. And I do have to put them into some kind of order of worst to first, as I've named this video. So, okay, so that's IG-88. He's on the Empire Strikes Back card, and he is in 7th place.
We've only begun.
And in 6th place, we have Greedo on the Star Wars card. Now, again, this is getting really difficult now to split between them. This card is one of my favourite cards from back in the day. Such a great card, and the figure isn't too bad either. A great likeness of him from the movie. Nothing wrong with the figure at all, but again, he does have to be put into some kind of order, and there are better figures and cards to come. Okay, so we're into the top 5 now, and in 5th place we have Luke Skywalker X-Wing Pilot. Now this is actually quite a high quality figure considering how long ago it was made and it came out, and obviously the card art is great, looking at that classic image from A New Hope. I mean, the detailing on the helmet's great. Everything there is that you need is there really. He's got his blaster there, his orange jumpsuit. So again, it's difficult to put these into some kind of order, but obviously, you know, this one possibly should have come higher up in the list, but in my opinion, there are better figures to come. And into 4th place, we have the Biker Scout. Now, this figure possibly would have been my number 1. I love this card art. This was possibly one of the first figures that I actually bought myself as a child, actually going into a shop with my own money and buying it rather than getting it for Christmas or a birthday or something like that. I remember buying it on the way back from watching Return of the Jedi, so it has that nostalgic value. But the reason it doesn't come higher up in the list, and possibly not being number 1, is because the quality of the figure. As you can see, mine has gone yellow. Now, there's nothing wrong with the figure sculpt. It looks pretty good. But, you know, back then they're obviously using some weird plastics. I mean, they possibly might all go yellow eventually, the white characters. But this one has gone really bad. And usually on other figures that I have seen of this one, usually it's only that middle section that's gone a bit yellow. But the whole torso of mine has gone yellow as well. So that isn't great. You know, these things obviously don't age well, this particular figure. But obviously you can't argue with the card back. It is an exceptional card back, straight out of the movie. But it, as I said, it doesn't get so high up the list purely because of the quality of that plastic going yellow like that. It's not great. So maybe Hasbro can do a re-release of this figure. Okay, so on to the top 3, and in 3rd place we have the Imperial Stormtrooper in his Hoth battle gear. Again, very difficult to split these top 3. This is another great figure. I love this figure, and I love the card back too. As you can see, it's the Empire Strikes Back card. And that looks to me straight out of the movie again, or a promotional shot or something, but it looks awesome. Who doesn't like the Hoth Stormtroopers? Fantastic characters, great design, and the figure is great as well. And yeah, no yellowing on him like the Scout Trooper. He looks pretty good to me. And in 2nd place we have Han Solo in his Hoth outfit. So there's a bit of a trend going on here. I do like the Empire Strikes Back figures. I do like the Empire Strikes Back cards. And I do like the Empire Strikes Back movie. So obviously these naturally come to the top of the list. But there's no getting away from it. This Han Solo is actually a very, very good figure. The paintwork on this figure is actually very, very good. The detailing on his legs there, on his strappings on his legs, and his coat and everything. You get the accessory of his hat and his scarf. And to be honest, for a face sculpt back in the day of Harrison Ford, that is not bad at all. Not bad at all. Obviously the card art straight out of the film of him on his Tauntaun there. Great image, and deservedly so in 2nd place. And in first place, surprise, surprise, it is the Bounty Hunter Bossk. Now, I'm sure you're all saying, oh, yeah, well, we knew he's your favourite character. He's going to be in first place of this list. Well, that kind of is true. I am slightly biased towards Bossk. However, you know, this card back is the classic card back from back in the day. I have the original figure there. But it comes down also to the figure itself, and there is no getting away from it. That figure there is one of the best figures that Hasbro have ever made, in my opinion. I'm just going to show you him loose. I have done a review of him before, so you can check that video out. But in terms of a face sculpt and paintwork, that figure there is exceptional. Let me just get the light better on him. I just, you know, considering when this guy was made, I don't really think you can improve on this figure. If they made another Bossk for a 3.75 vintage collection, it would just pretty much just be this one repacked. You cannot really improve on the figure. And for that reason, he is in first place. And yes, I'm biased. Okay then guys, let me know what you think of my list in the comments below. This was the worst first of the Vintage Saga Collection, or VSC as some people call it. It was, as I said before, it was released in 2006, 2007. Let me know in the comments what you think. Let me know which one is your favourite. Do I have this list completely wrong? Am I completely biased towards Bossk? You just let me know in the comments, and we shall see you on the next one.